Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my indoor tomato garden. I'm John Jr. and I'm the Tomato Man. Today's video, I'm going to show you my setup here of my indoor hydroponic garden, and also introduce you to the tomatoes that I have growing, and also show you the equipment that I am using inside of my grow tent here. Let's begin. Okay, so this right here is a 5-foot by 5-foot type grow tent. I've had this grow tent since 2011 when I was living in Great Falls, Montana. And I've learned a lot since then about growing tomatoes indoors and such, and also understanding the requirements of what it takes to grow tomatoes indoors. Okay, now first piece of equipment that I'm using for my tomatoes are these two LED grow lights. These are grow planner grow lights here. They're 150 watts a piece. And actually I got these on Amazon for like about 50 bucks or so, because they had a really good deal on them. And the nice thing I love about these LEDs is that they are dimmable. And well, they're actually dimmable by my phone with an app. Hey, you can't really beat that right there when it comes to a grow light. And another thing I like about these grow lights is that they are full spectrum. One of the biggest mistakes that I had made when it came to using grow lights was using ones that had the blue and red spectrum of color, which is what we would call the blurple color. Those lights were awful, and whoever came up with that idea, I do not know what they were thinking, but blurple, stay away from them. Now, the next piece of equipment that I have is sitting right over here, and this right here is actually my humidifier. The reason why I got this humidifier here is because a commenter on my channel actually told me about it's called the VPD, or vapor pressure deficit, meaning if you have 50% humidity, well, the other 50% is pretty much what is the vapor pressure deficit, meaning what it would say that the glass is half full, right? Well, the higher the VPD, meaning the drier the air. The lower the VPD, the more humid the air. And, well, in a couple of videos ago, my tomato plants were actually dying because the fact is that I didn't have a humidifier in there. The air was very, very dry, and plants were taking up way too much water and nutrients too fast, and it was not good for my tomato plants here either. This right here is another device right here that I strongly recommend that you should get, and I'll explain in just a minute. But what I was saying about the VPD thing is that these tomato plants were respiring too much water too quickly. Their little stomatas on their leaves were opening up, and they were just releasing a lot of water, taking it up way too fast. So with the humidifier, I pretty much set it to about 80% humidity, and you would think that is way too much humidity, especially for tomato plants. It would be true if it was outside though, but in here, they have to be at a specific VPD, when you're growing indoors and such, which is what I learned. And so I also put a fan in here to make sure that the air keeps moving around, because the biggest enemy for fungus and such is moving air, light and moving air. So having a fan is also a good idea, but this one right here is a little bit overkill, so I'm going to try to get a smaller size fan to put inside of my 5-foot by 5-foot grow tent. The next device that I have right here is called a Govee. This right here is a digital humidistat as well as a thermometer, and it connects to your phone via Bluetooth. And one thing I like about this device right here is that it actually tells me what my VPD is inside of my grow tent. This is amazing. This little device right here is amazing. So instead of me having to figure out what my VPD is, this right actually does it for me. Now let me introduce you to the tomato plants. This one here is called a Husky Red Cherry Tomato. This is what we would call a dwarf variety tomato. The reason why they're called dwarf varieties, this one here only grows to about 1 foot tall or maybe 2 feet tall. It depends, on the conditions and everything, but these tomato plants normally stay small, they stay short, and they only have like one main stem. These type of tomatoes, you do not have to prune. Don't do that. This is what they call an indeterminate dwarf. Only grows so high, but it definitely does produces a good bit of fruit. This little guy right here is called a patio princess. This right here is another good tomato that's really good for growing into containers as well. It's another dwarf tomato variety. Very good for you if you want to grow it on a patio or something like that right there, or if you want to grow it in a hydroponic setting like this right here too. And this one right here is what we call Sweet Sturdy Grace Cherry Tomato. This one produces little golden round cherry type tomatoes, and then these, from what I hear, they actually are pretty sweet though. Before I had the humidifier on these right here, they were actually looking a little sickly and everything, but now I got the humidifier on them, they're doing a whole lot better. And this one over here is another husky cherry red tomato. And the fertilizer that I have been feeding these right here is actually Master Blend 41838. That is actually a commercial grade hydroponic nutrient mix. It's in a dry powder form. I used to go with liquid nutrients, but I don't do that anymore. Everything that I use now is just dry nutrients, because when you try to go with liquid nutrients, you're paying for mostly the water, and that's not cool. I don't like that right there either. Now this plant right here is actually something that's very unique. This is called a Pepino. This is actually comes from the Andes Mountains of Peru, and is actually a relative of the potato, the tomato, and the peppers. These are produces what we call a goose-shaped type of fruit, and it has kind of a bland melon cucumber kind of taste to them. But these are actually pretty unique, and they do really well growing in the indoors as well too. This was pretty much my setup and everything too. And oh yeah, with the Master Blend 41838, I also mix up 1500 calcium nitrate and also magnesium sulfate. It's a tomato formula because the 38 is your potassium, which is really good for producing fruit. Like you see right here, this tomato plant right here is already loaded with little fruits on it as well too. I do appreciate you watching my videos and such, and please watch some of my other videos, and please leave me feedback and help me to improve my videos, and actually let me know what you would like for me to make videos on concerning tomatoes and hydroponics. I'm John Jr. I'm the Tomato Man. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Bye bye.